It's time now to check your money with America's money maven, Vicki Brackens. Vicki Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of LPL Financial, member SIPC. First and foremost, Vicki, I want to say happy Easter to you and your family.
Thank you very much, George. Happy Easter to you and your family and to our viewing and listening audience. You got some ham? Easter eggs?
I was going to say, you asked me about Easter eggs.
Yeah.
There's always, not the ones, we used to boil them and color them and all of that. No.
Right.
I think they'll be the ones in the plastic. That's what I think we'll be doing with those. But
well, okay, it's a lot safer because sometimes we would find those other ones like weeks later.
Listen,
okay,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we trace the smell, okay, and figure out where in the world those are coming from. So those plastic ones are a lot safer these days.
Yeah.
So anyway, George, this week we have another special guest. Yeah. Someone here that I think you have known for a long time, and many people in the local community have, which is Richard Cooney, Richard J. Cooney, better known as Dick Cooney, who's the Director of Financial Planning Strategies for Brackens Financial Solutions Network and also for Heritage Financial Partners. I wanted to make sure that we had Dick on because he has such an incredible story and has had 35 plus years in this industry. So he can give us a perspective on many things related to financial planning in the industry that we may not have covered in the past. So before I start though, as yes. I always do, and my first question is yes. that I want to make sure with Dick that we give him the opportunity to tell us about his journey. So Dick, tell us your story and how you got here and what has happened over the last 35 years, and you got 3 minutes to do so. All right?
The 3 minutes go.
Okay. All right.
I went to school at Cornell. Idea was that I was going to be looking at veterinary medicine. Switched when I was there to environmental studies. Got out in the early 70s and decided to go into teaching. So I was in education for 7, 8, 9 years. Residential schools for kids with learning disabilities and behavior problems. Basically, they could go to the schools where we were at, or they could go to jail. So we had the inner city kids, the toughest of the toughest. Did that for a number of years, really enjoyed it. But internally, the schools we were at were changing, and a big part of that was due to state and federal regulations where they took away things that were working, and I decided to get out of the business altogether and wanted to go into sales. So looked at a number of things, moved to Buffalo, New York, and started with Cigna Financial Advisors at that time. First as a planner, then I went into management. Then I came over to Syracuse and was the manager here at the office. Did that for a number of years and decided to get out of the management side of it and then just do the financial planning side of it. The whole time that we were doing that, we started doing financial planning actually in 1985. So we were one of the first groups of people to actually do that and charge fees to do it. So we've seen an awful lot of changes, as you said, throughout. And basically, what was it now? 5 years ago, you and I decided that we had a good match and we were going to do it exclusively with each other. So did that and have grown with you and grown with Heritage and look forward to the next 10 years.
Oh, thank you for saying the next 10 years. I'm gonna say next 35 years for sure. Okay, all right.
And Dick, you said you were a Cornellian?
Yep.
All right, we've got two in the house.
Ah.
Yeah, two
Oh,
daughters. Okay.
well, I know Vicky's University of Houston, so I assume that means that you're an Ivy Leaguer as well, George.
I'm a Syracuse University graduate.
Ah, so
Go
who's the other?
Orange.
So who's the other Ivy Leaguer in the house?
Well, my one daughter just graduated in 2021, and the other daughter is scheduled to graduate in May of 2023.
Both at Cornell?
Both at Cornell.
Cool.
Yeah.
Really? Okay. So we've got Cornell, as we say, at least through and through. I'll say it that way. So Dick, I love the fact that you gave us a good rounded history of how you went from your original career choice as far as what was happening when you went off to college to the changes that took place over the years. But I really want to know, because you have an incredible title, Director of Financial Planning Strategies. What do you really do? What does that really mean?
I guess the easiest way to put it is it's exactly what it says is I direct the financial planning for what now is 6 offices from Atlanta up through Virginia and here in central New York. What happens is that each of the advisors, their business is to go and meet with clients that could utilize their services that have needs that need to be addressed. Mine is very similar to that, except what I do is that my clients are the advisors here. So what I need to do is make sure that they're well prepared for their clients so that they can act in the best interest for their client on all levels, whether that's investing, retirement, estate. I mean, from all that we've done, we've pretty well covered the whole breadth of that.
So your clients are actually the financial planners who work through our offices.
Absolutely.
Okay, honey. So I know that over the last 35 years and what you have accomplished over that time period and utilizing and working with individual financial planners as your clients, if you could step back for a second though, why would you encourage someone today to actually consider financial planning or becoming a personal financial advisor as a great career choice?
Oh, that's a very good question, because sort of taking the opposite of that for a moment is why would you not, encourage somebody? This is an industry that is continuing to have more and more regulations. Regulations are good because they protect the public, but regulations are also very difficult because you need to continuously make sure that all of your I's are dotted and all of your T's are crossed. And that, we're fortunate to have a very good compliance unit that will go and, help us understand what needs to be done, but we need to make sure that's the case. The other thing is that it's becoming more and more difficult because there's fewer and fewer people that are looking for this business. Now, that being said, why would I encourage somebody? Because I think it's one of the few places that somebody that is truly entrepreneurial can become involved with minimal amount of money up front, as long as what you're willing to do is learn and you're willing to work very, very hard. That being the case, it provides you, I would think, probably without a doubt, the best life you could have. I've got, I grew up in this business, raising 3 girls. And I went to every one of my girls' outings, whether that was when they played lacrosse or soccer or ballet or plays or field trips or anything. And very often I was the only father there. Now I could do that because when these things occurred at 2:00 in the afternoon, I could schedule myself so that I had 2 to 4 o'clock open. And then I turned around and I went back to my office and did the things that I would have done then from 4 to 6 or 7. So as long as you're willing to work hard and you're willing to go and put in the time and take care of your clients, you've got a tremendous amount of flexibility to be able to spend with your family. Plus, you've got the ability to have a huge impact on the lives of your clients, as well as, you know, the lives of your fellow workers. The number of times that we've been told, and you've been on meetings when this has happened, that a client has, you know, been very, very successful. They have all sorts of advisors, but they've never understood what their advisor is telling them to do, because they're always talking in legalese or gobbledygook. And the number of times that we've had clients that sit there and go, this is the first time that I truly understand what you're talking about, what it does and why. Now I can make an intelligent decision. And that's, you know, that's a great opportunity to be able to have.
Vicki, can I ask? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. I was about to say, you know, Dick, it's interesting that you said that, because the fact that you started out in education, and when I was reflecting back on my own career, which I did start in education years and years and years and years ago, but that underlying skill set of translating information to actionable, understandable, from conceptual information to actual understandable, actionable information is, I think, a skill set that comes with a lot of educators, which is one of the reasons, in looking at many of my colleagues, they started in education or within a realm where they were involved with information, translating information for others, and that became a very successful skill set for them. George, you had a question?
Yeah, and I also wanted to amplify what you just said, that there are often transferable skills, and we've seen it from various different conversations that we've had that fit here because of how people use those skills in this work. But Dick said something that I thought was very interesting. He said fewer people are looking for this business, and I wanted to know why that was. Why did you feel like that? Why do you feel that's the case? Or, well, and why that's not such a good thing?
Yeah. Couple of points that you're bringing up. Why is it that way? I think because, and you have two daughters, as you said, that just graduated from Cornell. My guess is that they have not been exposed to financial services industry as a glamour position and all. It's not the IT, it's not the biomedical, it's not, these are the things that people have. I would almost be willing to bet money that if you look at the people that are in this business now, whether they're in the business in their 20s or in their 60s, that the vast majority of them never started in this business. They never thought that this is what their business would be and all. And it's, you know, you try a lot of different things. So I think that's a big part of it is that there's a lot of, you know, it's not a glamour thing. People are not hearing about it and all. And when they're getting out, now when you get out, if you have to develop your own clientele base, that's a very, very difficult thing to do and all. And you have less major players. I mean, when we started in the business, we had very big players on both the financial side, the Morgan Stanleys and the Payne Webbers, and on the insurance side of it, the Metropolitans and the Northwesterns and whatnot, that they did this and they put a lot of time and effort and money into that, and that's not the case any longer. So people are kind of left on their own to do that. I think that's where we're extremely fortunate here at Brackens and Heritage because of the fact that we are large enough, okay, that we can go and offer both advice and mentorship and training to people that want to pivot into this business, yet we're small enough to be able to go and give them individual attention. Too much of what you see, one of the things that I do that I think is different as a director of financial planning is that I sit down with each of my advisors and I find out what is their skill set that they use best. And I go and I take what I provide and I try and pivot it to match with that. You don't see that very often. Everybody, all these other firms, what they do is they say, here's the forms you have to fill out. Here's the things you have to do. You do what I tell you, and then I'll give you the information. We don't do that, you know?
Like it's a cookie cutter
Yeah.
in some ways.
Yep.
I mean, there's obviously some things you have to do, but you're basically tailoring the skill set of the individual to
Right.
to get the best out of them so that they can be successful. Sounds
And
like
they're comfortable doing what they are. So the more comfort that they have in what they do, they present that comfort and that knowledge to their clients and all. And if they get that knowledge because I force fed them that information, that's fine. You know, as long as they look good, you know, the client's taken care of, the advisor's taken care of, then the firm is taken care of. It's a win-win-win situation.
win-win-win.
Absolutely. Okay. So Dick, okay, I think already you've touched a little bit on my next question, but I want to make sure that we actually pull this out, and that is the future. The industry's changing a lot and has additional change that I think is in front of us. I know that you are a student of the industry. You really pay attention to the things that are coming down the pike. So why don't you tell us what you think that the industry is going to look like and the career is going to look like over, say, the next 5 to 10 years?
Oh, you kind of put me on the spot with that one.
How about that?
It's funny you ask it, because what I would say is the answer that I'm going to give you now is very different than the same answer I would have given you 24 months ago and all. And the reason for that is what everybody has and continues to deal with, which is COVID and all. As we said, you know, I've been in this business for an awful long time, and I've seen people that have worked at home, you know, doing telecommuting and, you know, video conferencing and whatnot. And I always said, that's nice, but there's just no way I could do that. You know, I need to have an office. I need to have the people there. I need to be able to do it. And there's no way that our clients, who are, you know, affluent individuals that are used to having attention, there's no way that they'd go and be able to deal with and want to deal with a video conferencing type of thing. Then when COVID hit, no, people had no choice. You know, you had no choice. So you either had to complain, you either had to get out of the business, which a lot of people my age did. They were just, this isn't me. You know, I've been looking for a reason to get out. I'm getting out and selling my business now, you know, or they had to pivot and learn how to take advantage of it. And that's what we've done. And all, you know, that's allowed me, you know, being here in Syracuse, to be able to work very closely with, you know, people in Norfolk and Richmond and Atlanta. And we're looking to bring people on, as, you know, Vicki has probably alluded to, in other parts of the Eastern Seaboard and Central US. And I can do that anywhere. So I just went in, as Vicki knows, I just went down to Atlanta because my daughter got married down there. And all. But what that means is that I bring all my stuff with me. I work half the week. I work straight out of my Atlanta area. And it's no different than if I was here in Syracuse. And all. So I think that what you're going to see in the future is you're going to see more and more of that. You need to have firms and you need to have individuals that can work that way and be able to support people that are working that way, both clients and advisors and all. I also look at, and one thing that, you know, George is going to have to deal with as well is, you know, he's got 2 young women that are now going out into the workforce, and they do not have somebody that is there to give them advice unless they're lucky enough to have a, you know, 50, 60 or 70-year-old that they know of. There's very few. And I've got 3 daughters that are in their 30s, and it's the same thing is that it worries me that there's not going to be people there that they can work with. What you see is that there's an awful lot of these, you know, robo type of enterprises where you call in and they, you know, they give you the same answer, and it's, you know, you have to listen through and get, you know, 10 prompts to decide where you want to be. And then you can't remember if your prompt was number 4 or number 5. So I think that there's going to be a lot more of that. So if you've got people that are willing to give clients what they're looking for, both in terms of the technology as well as the information, I think that this is a job that is fairly unique. But I don't see that happening with the industry as a whole. I mean, right now, average financial planner is, late 50s.
Yes. Okay. I think that's one of the reasons we continually have this conversation about encouraging younger individuals to actually look at this as a career choice. And the way you positioned it earlier, the fact that in our colleges and universities, we are not necessarily being introduced as far as a viable, lucrative career that you can grow with and continually prosper in and help your communities on over 10, 15, 20, 25, 35 years. We need to spend much more time bringing that message to everyone, everyone that will listen to us. Well, Dick, listen, thank you very much. The last thing I always have to make sure I ask, for those individuals who are not necessarily individual clients, but who may be clients, meaning advisors that want to talk to you more about the career, how do they reach you? What's your phone number?
They can reach me here in our office, 315-930-4499, and my extension is 103. Or just probably the easier way is to go onto our website, and it's richard.cooney@brackensfsn.com.
Fantastic. Dick, again, thanks a lot for joining us this evening. And I'm looking forward to, as you say, another 5 to 10 years of enjoyment, especially since we can now do it with the robots. We can now do it with virtual systems and things of that nature. For those of you, who have not had a chance to relax from filing your taxes because you still have one more day, don't forget, if you're under the gun, that you may want to reach out to your tax preparer and ask to file an extension. Don't ignore the fact that we have one more day on Monday to file those extensions. But if you try and hide and not do it, it's not going to work out for you. So George, I'll say at this point in time, our plate is full, and I look forward to talking to you again next week.
All right. Vicki Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and the registered representative of LPL Financial, member SIPC. She is America's Money Maven.